After $1 billion hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help you save time and get claims paid faster.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's 3 p.m. here, a little bit later than our normal hail forecast, but that's because we're not really focusing on hail too much, even though we're called hail trace. We're going to be more hurricane trace for the next probably 5 or 6 days here, as we're leading up to the potential of a pretty major hurricane. Currently Tropical Storm Florence, and is expected to become a hurricane by this evening, and then maybe into a very dangerous hurricane as we lead into the rest of the weekend and the start of next week. Got a lot to talk about, guys. It's going to be a little different. I'm going to have my show, and then I'm going to kind of steer off and kind of improvise a little bit as we look at some stuff, some models and everything. Just try to really go in depth of explaining and talking about Florence and the potential for some other tropical activity as well. Looks like we could see some other storms way down the line. But first, before anything else, make sure to shout out C3 Group. Have that commercial right there for them. You can check them out in the description below. If you're watching this here on Facebook, click on their page and take them right to their Facebook page, and you can contact them. And if you do contact them and need them for any claims, you can just say Hail Trace sent you. So with that, download our app if you haven't already. You can watch these videos and our live streaming when we will be in South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever Florence makes landfall. We'll be live streaming there as well, so don't miss out on that. You can download our app on the Google Play Store, on the App Store. Hit the lightning bolt lower right-hand corner of the screen, and that will bring up whatever live stream we have at the time, or just replaying the most recent video that we had. It will be in the corner, so you can continue working whilst you are watching and listening to the video. Or if you want to see us in full screen mode, just click on it, go into your landscape mode, and bam, full screen version of these videos. And also make sure you have notifications set up. We do send out push notifications once we start mapping a hurricane, of course, when we go live. So go to notification options, notification settings, and that will bring up this lovely page where you can check off 1, 2, or 3 different ways you can get push notifications, whether it's on your app, on the desktop computer, on your email. And you can customize it to city, areas, states, whole country, entire nations, including Canada and Australia. We send out push notifications for all those lovely locations. And finally, of course, we do in fact have a small hail threat for today. We can't ignore the fact that there's a hail threat here and there, even though we're talking almost exclusively about this hurricane. We have a 2% chance in Rapid City. I think some storms might form this evening after about maybe an hour or two from now. Could have just some ping pong ball size hail, the biggest hail. However, it's looking likely it's going to be very rural and fairly isolated. So not really that big of a hail threat at all. This is all we really have to talk about. So we're going to move on over to Hurricane Florence. Here's the satellite update. This is probably about an hour and a half old or so. I started putting this together while I was watching the OU game here. Boomer Sooner. You can see Florence isn't looking super organized if you compare to a couple days back. All the shear has made Florence not look super great in the past couple of days. But, and if you notice towards the end of the run here, she's starting to get some convection wrapping all the way around the center of the storm. And again, we're pulling away from where all the shear is pretty much right now. So by this evening and moving forward, Florence is expected to rapidly intensify from a strong tropical storm to possibly even as high as a Category 5 hurricane for a period of time here. This is the 11 a.m. Update. We had Florence was at 65 mile per hour, maximum sustained winds, slowly moving to the west at about 7 miles per hour. Pressure is dropping though. I think they're sending out the Hurricane Hunter planes now. We're getting close enough to the coast, and it's looking likely enough that we're going to see landfall, that the Hurricane Hunters are going out and dropping stuff into the storm, and we're watching the pressures actually dropping pretty quickly. We're getting down to 991 millibars, I believe was the lowest they found. So Florence is already beginning to strengthen. I'm willing to bet the evening update here will have her as a Category 1 hurricane again, and with further intensification expected. So this is what the models are looking at for possible intensity. You see a lot of focus here up to a Category 4 hurricane at her peak, and that's unfortunate for the coast. Looks like we're going to probably see this thing bomb out right off the coast and then come up on shore. The big question, of course, will be timing of everything. Will Florence explode and hit her max intensity about 100 miles off the coast and begin to weaken upon landfall? Or is she going to hit her max intensity, have a replacement cycle which expands the wind field and then re-strengthening as she makes landfall, kind of like how Harvey was a strengthening hurricane on landfall? Hurricanes that are strengthening on landfall are always going to be more intense than the weakening ones because the winds are going to be increasing as we're hitting the coast, so possibly being overestimations from what we are forecasting. But nonetheless, rapid intensification is probably one of the hardest things to forecast in the world of weather. So the Gulf Stream is extremely powerful at making hurricanes go from nothing to a crazy storm pretty quickly. It's one of the best primer locations on the planet for big time hurricane intensifications. I would not be shocked if we managed to get all the way over to tap a Cat 5 while we're off the coast, and then probably a strong Cat 4 as we move towards the coast. So with that, why is it that Florence is going to explode? Well, here, right in this area, the environment is primed for rapid intensification and then maintaining that as well. So right now, Florence is still kind of fighting a little bit of shear, a lot less than yesterday and significantly less than from the day before, but we're very, very close to this area. The rest of her path is perfect for keeping a hurricane strong and strengthening and maintaining it as well. It's not just going to peak and then die off real quick. There's nothing that's going to stop it from beginning to shear apart or anything as we head towards the coast. And that's why all of the concerns are being raised. I think South Carolina already is talking about preparations, a possible state of emergency and everything, because of the fact that it looks like she's going to really strengthen and more than likely make landfall. So we have our landfall chances map here. I just created this. This is a brand new graphic for us. The fact that Florence is taking some time to come to the coast is letting us try to test out a couple new graphics. This one, it probably looks pretty similar to what our hail maps look like, but this is more just for possible landfall expectancy, where if you're at a specific point, what are your chances of seeing a landfall? So the yellow here, it's a 5% chance that this storm is going to make the eye wall, is going to make the eye itself, eye wall, all the worst parts of the hurricane makes landfall. So really, I'm expecting anywhere pretty much between Jacksonville, Florida, and up as far north. Right now, still, there's a couple models out there, a couple of the ensembles that are showing possibly all the way up towards a Virginia Beach landfall. So 5% chance for all that. We narrow it in a little bit more, and I'm at 20% chance if it's going to be between just south of Savannah, Georgia, all the way up to Cape Hatteras. And then I'm saying the highest chance right now, 30% chance. Again, we're almost a week out. I can't go higher than about 30%. From Savannah, Georgia to about Morehead City, North Carolina. So I'm really putting the bullseye in on South Carolina, anywhere along that South Carolina coast. You guys are most likely, as of right now, from what we're seeing, to get that direct impact. And for those of you wondering, the window for going out to sea is really dwindling with each and every single run that we've been seeing of the models. I'd say probably right now only about a 25% chance of seeing a either glancing blow or curving out to sea, and that's decreasing with pretty much every single run. So a 75% chance that we're going to see a direct hit of this storm as of right now, and that's really good odds for this far out, along with the weird path that this is taking. Florence is taking a very unusual path. If you look at all the other historical data from where Florence is on a longitudinal point, there has been no hurricane that has made this path in recorded history. So this is going to be going to some uncharted territory, looking, again, a more likely landfall as we see here, especially in South Carolina, up through southern North Carolina, again, even as far possibly down towards Savannah, Georgia. And that's bad news for a storm surge. Category 4 hurricane would be devastating storm surge for Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, the Outer Banks, obviously. All that whole area is pretty low lying and pretty swampy, so that's really gonna the storm surge would be pretty intense. And of course, winds upwards of 140 miles an hour would be doing a hell of a lot of damage too. So I'm going to show you some of the model ensembles, and then we're going to switch over to just showing other stuff that's going on as well. This is the GFS. The American model has been out to lunch a little bit. The most recent run was kind of defying physics a tiny bit and getting kind of wonky in terms of weather nerds. People start freaking out a little bit, like, oh, it's going to go out to sea. The major outliers, the only model that is deciding it wants to kind of graze the coast and flip around and do all this other crazy stuff that doesn't really make that much sense on a weather standpoint, on the physics standpoint. So that really, the National Hurricane Center is kind of dismissing the American model right now, and I'm in the same camp. Looks like we're probably more likely going to see what all the other models are showing. And well, actually, this was yesterday, and here is today. So again, widespread. The spread has gotten wider, along with the fact that a lot of it's kind of out to lunch. About half the models here are showing North Carolina landfall. The other half out to sea, and then that's really the only one. Those are really only models that want that. This is all of the global models. You see, it's really focused in on South Carolina here. A lot of them are really crashing in South Carolina. It'd be crashing as a Category 4. Hurricane Harvey was a bare minimum Category 4 hurricane when he made landfall last year. So this would be a stronger version of Harvey, a lot more ocean. Probably the storm surge, I'm a little nervous, might be a pretty big deal from this. Coming pretty much due west, and it's not exactly a tiny hurricane. You got a lot of time. The longer it's out on water and pushing, when it's strong, the more storm surge is going to be. Anyway, so about half the models have it going directly into South Carolina. Probably about a third of the models are getting kind of wonky here off the coast of North Carolina. And then, let's see, whoops. Oh, and that's where I have to now change things over here, guys. With that, I'm bringing over, we're going to show you, this is the European model, the most recent run. This is an animated version. So the European has been consistent with a landfall somewhere probably between Charleston, South Carolina, and Wilmington, North Carolina. And the most recent run, this just came out a few minutes before I got on the video here, and it's honestly the reason why I waited till 3 o'clock. You see the spread of very, very few of the European model have it going out to sea or just brushing the coast. Most of them are focused in here, again, somewhere between Georgia, and this one in particular has a lot. It's when you're Wilmington, North Carolina, towards Morehead City, North Carolina, towards Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So again, a lot of these areas are been very consistent showing the potential landfall, and for this many days out and this much consistency, it's really hard to ignore. The European model has had a history of being very accurate. Once it kind of latches onto something, it just sticks with it. Hurricane Sandy was the case in 2012. Gordon just the other day. Hurricane Harvey last year. Much better than what the American model has. American model seems to really still have lots of issues with hurricanes. But the European, I don't know, they figured it out, man. They're really kind of going. Here is the most recent, what we're seeing for Florence. You see all the deeper reds right around the core here, much deeper convection. You even see what a little resemblance of an attempt at an eye showing up. This is all infrared. You can really see that we're starting to explode right now, and I'm willing to bet the overnight hours are going to by between today and tomorrow, in the overnight hours and the morning hours, tomorrow is going to make Florence look very different than how she looks right now. I'll show you guys what the American model GFS was showing here. It's going to be kind of wild. If my computer can catch up. There we go. Move through, get through the days here, and we we're pretty strong. This would be a Category 4 hurricane moving towards the coast, and then whoop, you get a little close to the Outer Banks there, kind of hang around, do a little loop-de-loop, another loop-de-loop from the other way, and then it goes and crashes into Nova Scotia. That is the outlier solution from everything else. I'm willing to bet the American model is going to kind of cool it a little bit. And now I'm going to show you guys the, where is it? There we go. This is the European model, the operational and the main run, basically. And this really kind of zeroes in on where it's thinking that landfall is going to be. Move forward here. You see her come roaring in, and this would be landfall right by Wilmington, North Carolina, and this is midday on Thursday. So this is a little quicker than what other models have been having. So somewhere between Thursday, like midday, afternoon, through about Friday, depending on what model you look at and where she's making landfall. And yeah, she would crush the coast. And then there actually would still be a chance for quite a bit of storm surge going to Chesapeake Bay as well in this particular run. So things are moving around quite a bit. We're really starting to zero in. We're really expecting a landfall here, guys, and we will most definitely be out there. It's gonna be a couple-day drive. Probably gonna leave on Monday, and get out there, get there a little early, and we will be doing coverage of the hurricane for as long as possible. Hopefully, cell phone service holds out or long enough to have internet for most of the coverage. If not, we'll record it and play it for you guys afterwards. So that is what we are looking at. I don't know if I had anything else as we want to show you guys other than where we're at. We got the hurricane hunters out there. Unfortunately, we don't have a plane out right now. I'm catching you guys between reconnaissance flights, so not much to talk about. But we look out further to the west. We have two other storms. The tropical storm Helene is out way out by the Azores, or not by the Azores. What is this? God, I can't remember that name of those islands. Either way, off the coast of Africa, she is gonna curve out to sea, barely make it past the continental divide, and head out towards the Azores. So she won't be a big deal. However, Tropical Depression 9 is going to head into the Caribbean and then eventually probably into the Gulf. So we'll be watching that. That's way down the line, though, guys. This is Florence is going to come and go all and everything before. So this is by Thursday. We'll be heading towards the Caribbean. So this will be something to watch in a couple weeks here. I mean, that's the big thing with hurricanes. You know, sometimes they form and they're way the hell out there. So you're watching this stuff for like 2.5 weeks before it even becomes a big deal for the United States, if at all. So National Hurricane Center, again, they're really pushing it on that Category 4 strength, and that would be landfall somewhere between South and North Carolina. So that is what all I got for you guys today. We'll be back again tomorrow for another update, probably around the same time. Make sure you follow us here on Facebook. If you haven't already, hit see first so all of our posts come up to your top of your newsfeed. We might post other interesting graphics if anything crazy happens between our forecast videos. And so make sure you check on that and you hit see first. It'll make our posts go at the top of your newsfeed. Avoid all the other shenanigans that the Facebook algorithm may have to bury our posts. Give us a call, email us, or visit our website at hailtrace.com for any other inquiries you may have about what we can provide for you business-wise. And, of course, any comments, questions, or concerns you may have if you're watching this after the fact. Or you're watching this right now, but you don't want to put a comment in the Facebook chat. Hey, you know what? More power to you guys not judging. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you again tomorrow, probably around 3 o'clock. We'll have another update. And then after that, probably have updates in our truck as we're going out to chase this bad boy. So have a great Saturday, everybody. Boomer Sooner. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend.